What's up, everybody? Okay. I'll just give it a minute and then I'm going to start. All right, guys. So, see, the title of this stream is going to be about human cloning and why you should never get the microchip implant. So, I'm making this live because some time ago I made a video titled The Elon Musk Microchip Agenda and how the quote unquote gods achieved semi immortality through the use of this microchip technology. After that video, I said that I was going to make a video on why you should never get the microchip implant, but I never got the chance. So in this stream, we're going to be talking more about that, plus delving deeper into the human cloning technology. So one reason why you should never get the microchip implant is because of predictive programming. As it is known, a lot of what is shown within the movies, TV shows, video games, and media is based on shit that they would actually like to eventually normalize in the future. A lot of what these psychopaths portray to be fiction is realistically what they would like to have become a reality. There are so many Hollywood films and TV shows and video games that portray and push the microchip and consciousness transfer agenda, such as Cyberpunk 2077, replicas starring Keanu Reeves, The Adventures of Pluto Nash starring Eddie Murphy, Gemini Man starring Will Smith, Ghost in a Shell, Resident Evil, They Clone Tyrone, The Sixth Day, Oblivion, and many, many more. Within these kinds of films, not only do they predictively program the cloning and microchip technology itself, but they also tend to showcase what can be done with it. So, for example, we've all seen those kinds of movies where characters will have some kind of microchip implanted in them, and then with a push of a button, the characters' movements can be controlled. They can be mind controlled and told what to do on command, like a slave, or their head can be violently exploded remotely. One TV show that displayed an instance of this was the SpongeBob movie. For those of you that don't know, there was a scene in the SpongeBob movie where Plankton tricked the Bikini Bottom citizens into putting the Chum Bucket helmets on, and then with a press of a button, the helmets came down over their heads, turning them into mind-controlled zombies. Obviously, in Cyberpunk, you're able to scan an enemy and use a hacking ability to make their chip malfunction. You can also manipulate them into attacking their own allies. Additionally, within Cyberpunk, the head of the Arasaka family was killed by his own son, and when the truth was revealed of what happened, they penalized the son by forcing him to give up his body to be taken over by his father's consciousness via the microchip consciousness transfer. A lot of people will continue to claim that all of this is just fiction or conspiracy, but yet Elon Musk, is actively trying to push a microchip Neuralink in people's heads. He is heavily pushing the microchip agenda. And lastly, Klaus Schwab was speaking at a World Economic Forum event of some kind, and he literally states that your avatar will continue to live forever, and your brain will be replicated through AI and algorithms. That's basically what I have to say for now. But you go ahead, Femi Urge Destroyer, if you wanted to say anything. Or I'll just keep going.
You can keep going.
All right, good. Okay, let me see something real quick. I'm just gonna, yeah. Um, so next thing is next. I'm gonna be talking about REM driven cloning. So just give me a second. Let me find my shit. Or if you wanted to say anything, Lightning God, just briefly about, like, I think there's a movie where, yeah, that one. I don't know if you remember that movie where they would put microchips in their head or whatever, and then they would. It was like that Office movie where everybody was at work or something.
Yes, that off move, yeah, where they're forced to kill each other or the head will blow off. Yeah, I remember that movie. Yeah, that movie. That's the biggest example. If we get microchip in our necks, we will be used as a puppet for either their amusement, for their crimes,
Mm-hmm.
or to make us look bad. And that's what they can do. If anyone cross the government or anyone cross like celebrities, they will take them out by just they don't have to do it with other people anymore. They don't have to use like, oh, freak accent. They can literally use the microchip to control you and make your life a living hell. They can make you look like a criminal. They can make you look like they can embarrass you, they can ruin your reputation, they can ruin your marriage, they can ruin this and that. They If you have the microchip in your neck, they basically own you. They basically take everything, your mind, your body, your soul, and that's you're just nothing but a mindless puppet to them. And that's how it's gonna be with the microchip. Yeah, and I think there's more movies. I think there's a movie where a guy had microchip and it was controlling his body. If I could find the movie, I'll definitely
Mm-hmm.
I'll definitely say it. But it was in that scene where it's just like he was just getting control. He was just like a killing machine, and it was just like, yeah, the microchip can make you do that. Imagine you not being a killing machine and somehow some way you're just doing all these moves that just being an assassin and you're not even a master assassin. That's what microchip can do to you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
Oh, go ahead.
no,
okay.
I was just,
upgrade.
yeah.
That's the movie,
Right.
upgrade.
I was just going to talk about the REM driven clone, but if you have something to say, Femi, before I go into
Uh,
the.
yes, absolutely. I would like to say this about the microchip driven clones. I fully agree with what both you and the Lightning God said. Microchips are basically highly advanced technology used to control not only the originals but also the clones, which can be replicants and duplicates, and all of its for as far as we know variations. Microchips are basically also predictably programmed in a cartoon movie Joker, where one old guy gets implanted with a microchip into his brain, which then releases chemical substances, and he becomes a new Joker. It's basically a resurrection tool for the elites to transfer their consciousness into the microchips. And when those microchips get implanted into the young bodies, they can then use that to take over that young body. So it's basically complete control, complete manipulation, and uh, complete control, manipulation, and hold over its host. It's basically when you get implanted with the microchip, you basically become the microchip and its consciousness, a demonic consciousness, and you lose yourself forever. So never take microchips. And by the way, in all these sharpshooters, there are countless the uh, tiny microbots and microchips which they will use to transhumanize you. Anyway, but please go forward, Anman.
Okay, thanks. So yeah, REM stands for rapid eye movement. The REM phase of sleep is basically the deepest stage of sleep for those that don't know. Um, there are currently 6 types of cloning that are being concealed from the public. There are Mark 1 clones, Mark 2 clones, Mark 3 clones, Mark 4, and then the final type, which is called reanimated clones. Okay, so I'll read from right here. Mark 1 clones are REM-driven clones. However, the technology used for Mark 1 clones causes many side effects, and therefore, Mark 1 REM sleep-driven clones are no longer a preferred choice. Mark 2 clones are also REM sleep-driven clones. Mark 2 clones have fewer side effects than Mark 1 clones, and therefore Mark 2 clones are currently the preferred method for REM sleep-driven clones. Mark 3 clones are independent clones which operate on microchip containing the entire consciousness of an individual. Mark 4 clones are also independent clones, operating on a microchip which contains the entire consciousness of an individual and is an advanced version of the Mark 3 clone. These independent clones, Mark 3 and 4, have a lifespan of 6 to 12 months, and require adjustments after this period to run efficiently once more. Without these adjustments, their functionality weakens. Now we're going to move on to reanimated clones. Okay, so it says here, to reanimate means to restore life, resurrect or revive. Consequently, reanimated clones are clones which are genetically identical to that of a person who once lived. Replication cloning is what the public is most familiar with. Replication cloning involves giving birth to a genetic identical of an original, where the newborn starts life off as a baby and matures. The newborn is referred to as a clone. However, duplication cloning is a current concealed advanced form of cloning. Sorry, typo here. And it involves taking as little as 2 cells from an individual, adding a constant electrical charge to the cells until a complete human is being formed. Duplication cloning is similar to the process of regenerative medicine, as demonstrated by Dr. Stefan Badlak's video, How to Grow a New Fingertip. Dr. Stefan states, a whole human can be grown within 9 months. On average, it would take 5 months to grow a duplicate clone of an original by means of advanced scientific technological regenerative procedures. So yeah, does anybody have anything to say before I move on?
You can continue.
Yes, you have
All
the
right.
team.
All right. So now that we've discussed the different types of clones, which is basically Mark 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then reanimated clones, which, by the way, just in case it isn't clear, they make reanimated clones by essentially going to places in the world where maybe a figure that was prominent or important or famous in the past once lived. They go to their I guess burial ground, and they can take their DNA and they can basically clone that person that once lived before and have them walking around as like a new person, basically. So if you've ever seen those pictures where they'll have celebrities, so like celebrity lookalikes, where they'll have a celebrity, and then they'll put them side by side with a person that literally looks exactly like them, but they're like from the year 1800 or a very early 1900s. That's basically reanimated clones. That's basically what it is. Allegedly, Mike Tyson is a reanimated clone. He's basically supposed to be like a primitive human. He's kind of like a at least based on the information I found, Mike Tyson is basically like a He was an Egyptian bodyguard or something like that. I think for that one pharaoh, I can't remember what his name. I think it's Akhenaten or something like that, or within that time period. I think what other Taylor Swift, I think, is supposed to be a reanimated clone of the daughter of what's his name, Anton LaVey. I think it's Anton LaVey. Then of course you have Nicolas Cage, Eddie Murphy. Let me see if I can find some others just to basically call out because I have a picture. Let me just see. So yeah, it's Nicholas. Yeah, Johnny Depp as well. John Travolta, Oprah Winfrey. Let's see some others. The chick that played in the Hunger Games. Who else? Fucking. What's the dude from what were those movies where it's like I will find you and I will kill you?
Oh, Taken.
Fucking, yeah,
Taken.
take it. What's that actor's name? The lead actor. Fucking.
Give me a second. I know what his name was. Liam. I think it was Liam.
Yeah, Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson. He's also
Yeah.
supposed to be a reanimated clone. Let's see who else. I think the chick that played, was it Rachel in the Batman movies before they switched the actress out. You also have Matthew McConaughey as well. Justin Timberlake. I think there is some of Keanu Reeves as well. Yeah, that's all I can think of for now, but there are obviously others. Let's see. So yeah, with all of this being said, according to whistleblower Donald Marshall, if you implant a microchip within your body, you are voluntarily making yourself vulnerable to cloning center abuse. If the elites can get a substantial number of the populace to willingly take the microchip, this can result in very deep consequences for people, their children, their friends, and their loved ones in general. An event such as this would turn Earth into more of a prison planet than it already is. Donald Marshall states that anyone with a microchip implant can be killed remotely via a heart attack or aneurysm. This will literally give the elite psychopaths 100% domination, subjugation, and control over any and everyone. If you put the microchip implant in your body, your free speech will be completely eliminated. People complain about censorship now. You haven't even seen close to what the worst of it is. The microchip technology will create literal hell on Earth, but this hell will be artificial. If anyone even thinks of speaking out against them, they can just be killed remotely. No one has to send any agents after you. No one has to physically touch you. Press of a button from over thousands of miles away, and you're done. Additionally, instead of just killing you effortlessly, they can bring you to the cloning facility via consciousness transfer while you sleep at night and torture you by killing you over and over again, clone body after clone body, until you submit and decide to shut the fuck up in the waking world. So yeah, what do you guys have to say about that?
Well, I can say that yes, absolutely. All these Mark 1, 2, 3, and 4, and all these reanimated clones, as well as, but those are types that we know of. Actually, I would say that that there are also many more types of cloning which aren't disclosed in the book and that we aren't probably aware of. That's number one. Number two, these clones are completely controlled. And number three, with all these microchips, which I mean, of course, you are basically that person is under the total control under its owners. But not only that, the future world currency, electronic currency, will be control based. And it will be a far advanced version of a China's credit score system, where as long as you're obedient, your credit score is growing, or at least staying on the same level. However, once you do supposedly bad things according to the system, you get immediately punished, and you get immediately penalized, and not only that, you will eventually get liquidated. Of course, there will be no freedom of speech, no freedom of thought, no freedom of working, and all beings are going to be the mindless automatons ruled by the reptilians, the mantoids, the insectoids, are the octopus level beings. They will be firstly transhumanized, then post-humanized, then they will be turned into holograms, and then they will all be merged into a collective hive mind. Basically, as soon as you have a technology in yourself, you are just a hackable machine, a hackable animal, a hackable cattle, uh, cattle, as this Noah, Noah Yuval Harari says, and his chosen brethren. And of course, all these microchip will be under the control of the chosen ones. What you said about these superstars, I would say that it is absolutely correct. However, I would say that all of them are the clones. They are transgenders. They are reptilian. They are Nephilim, and they are basically Nosferatu monsters. So, and I would say there are actually some of them are very much long living, since they are demonic beings, actually Nephilim type beings. Some of them very likely discovered a biological immortality, and they are probably living till this day, but shape shifting their bodies. Some are transferring between bodies, while some are just slightly changing their original bodies, and presenting themselves as a completely new figure, as seen is those images. And basically, what we can say is that all these Hollywood and super sport stars, actually sport and every other superstar, as well as political figures, they are cloned, transgender, Nephilim, reptilian, vampiric hybrids, mutants controlled by the Chosenites. Anyway, please continue.
Yes, you both Fairmere and Amos made a good point. I definitely say if down the line, when they start trying to put the what's it called microchip in your neck, they're definitely gonna try to force people to do it, because they're gonna go to your house and say, hey, you took the microchip. Because they're gonna know that you didn't take the microchip. They're gonna know. They're gonna be like, because you're on the list that you didn't take it, because they're watching your every move. So it's either you don't take the microchip, or you lose like your job, or you lose your house, because they will definitely try to force you, and then the peer pressure of that will allow them to use that to put microchips in your neck. And that's definitely going to happen. It's going to happen because some people are not going to be stupid enough to take the microchip, because they don't want to be controlled like their puppets, their mindless puppets. But they're definitely going to force them to do it by any means necessary. That either means if you don't do it, you're going to lose your job, you're going to lose your house, you're going to lose your loved ones. It's either their way or the highway. So that's the scary part, is they will definitely try to do that if necessary. If they want to, if you don't take that microchip in your neck or arm, whatever, they will definitely try to take everything away. So they would use that fear to use that as their power. So basically, you're basically giving your body up in a way where they're pimping you. But instead of you getting money off of that, you're getting a microchip in your neck to be their puppet. And I could just see that happening. And I can see a lot of people. I can see a lot of people being homeless because of this. And I think this is the definition of, if you try to rebel against them, they would do anything in their power to make sure you get nothing. They might even freeze your bank accounts just to do that type of stuff. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm afraid that they're really gonna do anything it takes to make sure you get a microchip in your neck, or you will be homeless. You will have nothing to survive with. So I can see that happening down the line. It from different states, countries. It's just um definitely be prepared for that and the outcome, because I think people need to start preparing for that and coming together. I hope people do come together when that day starts to happen, when they knock at your door and tell you, "Hey, did you get the microchip in your neck?" You can lie and say, "Yeah, you did," but they obviously know you didn't, because you're obviously on the list where you didn't get the microchip in your neck. But that's what I have to say. You can tell me, Hamasi.
Okay. One thing I wanted to acknowledge. Let me go back. Okay, so Forgotten Brain Cell says, I don't know if y'all ever seen the movie Bloodshot, but it speaks how nanotechnology can also control and manipulate people. Yeah, I didn't see the movie, but I know what it's about. Yeah, that's just another example that they're putting in the movie that they would like to, implement in real life, and if they haven't already. But I guess just moving on. What kinds of antics do the elites use human cloning technology for? Okay, so some of this information was talked about in my first human cloning stream, but I'm just going to reiterate for new subscribers. So antics that take place at the cloning facility include things such as fake alien abductions, grape/sexual abuse, death sports, secret meetings, human experiments through the use of MK Ultra scenario technology, and also maintaining control over celebrities and prominent figures. So, going into the fake alien abductions, let me just read from my notes right here. It says, I must add, they grow duplicate REM-driven clones of people from all walks of life, and then they transfer the person's consciousness to their REM-driven clone version at the cloning center, while the person's REM-driven duplicate clone is chained down to a stainless steel corpse tables, or they pre-inject the REM-driven duplicate clones with drugs before transferring the consciousness, so that once the consciousness has been transferred, the REM-driven clone cannot move. This is the point when they usually send people into the room dressed as aliens. It is a fake alien abduction. It is just these Illuminati people dressed in Hollywood quality accessories, and they make the REM-driven duplicate clones, which have either been chained to the steel corpse tables or pre-injected with drugs, believe they are having an alien abduction. Members of the Illuminati even dye chicken skin gray, and they stretch it out over a mask for realism and perform experiments on the immobile REM-driven clones. The perverts anally probe them. They rape their limp bodies and do not suppress the victims' memories. So these victims wake up thinking they have been abducted by aliens, but in reality, they had their consciousness transferred to their duplicate clone versions when they entered REM sleep and they were violated. The victims do not know where to turn and naturally they are embarrassed. Some victims even try and do and some victims even try and do install cameras all around their bedrooms in order to videotape themselves while they sleep to prove that they have been quote unquote taken. But to no avail, they have not been taken. They have been cloned and had their consciousness transferred into their REM driven duplicate copies once they enter REM sleep by the most disgusting perverts in the world. The scum even videotape these abductions to watch later as sick, demented porn. These fake abductions are conducted by the Illuminati more often than you can imagine. They just keep doing it to random people over and over. Yeah, it's a pretty disturbing case, but number one, I don't know if you got some of you guys remember with the whole Ryan Garcia thing when he was basically, going crazy. He was saying, "Oh, they took me to the Bohemian Grove and they held me down, they raped me, and there was aliens and shit like that." That would be a example of what this passage was basically talking about, because he's saying he was abducted by aliens, or they took him to the Bohemian Grove, but in all reality they didn't take him anywhere. It's just that when he went to sleep at night, they transferred his consciousness into a clone. And I mean, there are aliens at the cloning facility, but sometimes they'll have elites just dress up as the aliens, and they just do their freaky shit, their P Diddy type shit. Another thing is that they can, I'm going to go into it later, but they run something called MK Ultra scenarios, which is basically where they can make you see shit that isn't really there. It's like they can use Project Bluebeam hologram technology, or they can drug you up and basically like make you confused and shit. You don't know what the fuck is going on. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. He wasn't abducted by, he was drugged up. Yeah, they more than likely had his ass at the cloning facility. And they were fucking with him there. Let's see. Okay, before I move on to the rape and sexual abuse, if you guys wanted to, or Femiurge wanted to say anything, I think I saw your mic.
Yes, I definitely want to add this to which to the testimony of Donald Marshall. I mean, some of the information that he said is definitely commendable, and there is definitely a lot of truth. However, all in all, I personally consider myself, in my opinion, I consider Donald Marshall to be just another controlled opposition, because some of the things that he stated in his books and among his information is basically I would just label it as a COINTELPRO, because he speaks about he just said that he said that they are now putting a chicken skins over it and everything. And basically, I would say that they are no aliens. I would say that all aliens are basically demons, and the Archons and the Reptilians. I wouldn't say. Those are all demonic life forms. They are not extraterrestrial in a sense that they are from another planet or another world. No, they're all based here, but they're all demonic and they're all evil. Then what I wanted to say is that the Donald Marshall told a lot of inside information about his books, that all these famous personalities approached him, and that they all wanted him to write songs for them ever since he was the age of 5, and that he was a private to them, and this that. I mean, basically, he is saying, this Donald Marshall, that he is controlled enough to still be alive among them. If what he is saying is true, and what if he's saying is Is false is basically that he is basically making that told up. So there are basically two choices. Uh, either he is lying and being a controlled opposition, or B, he is telling a truth, but he is controlled enough to be allowed to live. Because some things which he mentions in his books, like the meek will inherit the earth, the Abrahamic religions will save the world, the particular chosen people are not the enemy. For me, those are all smoke and mirrors and distractions. And for these bases, I think that uh, the humans, I mean, these people or these elites, none of them are human. They are all monstrous reptilian entities, and I think that he is definitely part of this reptilian cover-up. This Donald Marshall guy, either he's control, either he's cloned, or either he is being blackmail with something. Anyway, I think it is all free with him, as with a system of control. It's either you obey, have possessions and everything, or if you disobey, you die. Anyway, please continue.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Although the thing is, I don't believe anything anybody says for 100%. I mean, it could be controlled opposition. I'm really just using all this stuff for reference.
Absolutely.
Pretty much, I don't trust anybody. But yeah, all I know is that everybody, everybody's just telling bits and pieces of truths. I really don't know what to believe. At the end of the day, you should always just, be your own person. Just have your free thought. All this is basically just for reference. Lightning God, if you wanted to say something, or I could just move on to the sexual abuse and the rape.
You can move on to that.
Before I go into that, let me just pull something up then. Okay. Okay. Okay, so on the topic of what kinds of antics do the elite use human cloning technology for, we talked about the fake alien abductions. Now we're going to talk about the rape and sexual abuse. Hold on 1 second. Jojo Bean says, I have a very hard time believing anything said by anyone every, but I will always take everything into consider. Yeah, exactly. Pretty much just keep an open mind, because at the end of the day, we don't really know where the fuck we are or what this place is. And anybody that's just clinging to one idea, source, religion, or group, they don't really know what the fuck is going on, whether it's science, religion, conspiracy, or whatever the case may be. No one source, group, or person has all the answers for us. So I'm just simply asking the fucking questions. I don't know what the fuck is going on here. Well, that's definitely facts, what Jojo Bean was saying. Definitely don't trust anything anybody says for 100%. Like, be skeptical with absolutely everything. So yeah, moving on to rape and sexual abuse. Yeah. So because of cloning technology, if the elites find a particular individual to be physically attractive, or if they just want to mess with / humiliate someone, they can easily have them cloned into the facility and perform sick acts of perversion on them. According to Donald Marshall, the cloning centers are a pedophile's paradise. Satanists, Freemasons, and cult members often have people's children cloned into the facility and raped in the dirt arena. The sickening part of this process is that the scumbags at the facility will select children to mess with by maintaining and cultivating a collection of children's yearbook photos. They'll casually pass the book around to each other excitingly, trying to decide which kid they want. According to Donald Marshall, parents willingly sell out their own children to the cloning center assholes in exchange for monetary benefits in the waking world, such as a promotion at work or extra pay. Additionally, many child star actors and actresses of the past that were on programs such as Nickelodeon and the Disney Channel that now speak out about the abuse that they experienced were more than likely sold out by their parents for benefits. For example, Jeanette McCurdy, a young star who featured on the iconic show called iCarly and Sam and Cat, wrote a book later in life titled "I'm Glad My Mom Died." This book this book is possibly Jeanette McCurdy hinting that she is happy that the one who sold her out finally met her end. Okay, so lastly, another alleged instance of cloning center sexual abuse concerns the Menendez brothers incident. I'm not sure if, well, some of you guys are definitely probably familiar with the Menendez brothers case, which I think in the 90s, well, not the 90s, well, close to the 90s, but it was in the 1900s, late 1900s. Basically, there was this rich family, called the Menendez family and whatnot, and the sons of the Menendez mother and father, they basically killed their parents. And when they went to prison, they basically said they were being abused. It was basically a rich family, elite type family, because I think the father was he was working in Hollywood or something like that. But I'm gonna detail it right now. So right here it says, "Suburban Nightmare, the Menendez brothers." Marshall explains that he has since learned that elite scientists must take great care when releasing a person's suppressed memories. In that, the memories must be gradually released over a period of time so as to not cause unwanted results. Marshall claims that this is what happened in the much publicized case of brothers Lyle and Eric Menendez, tried in 1994 for the shotgun murders of their wealthy parents, media executive Jose Menendez and wife Kitty Menendez. On August 20th, 1989, a 911 operator received a frantic call from Lyle Menendez saying that someone had killed his parents. When police arrived, they found the bodies of both in the den of their luxury Beverly Hills residence. Jose Menendez had been shot in the back of the head, while Kitty Menendez had been shot repeatedly while trying to escape the killers. With no suspects in the double murders, the case remained unsolved until police discovered tapes of Eric Menendez confessing his involvement in the killings to a therapist. Both brothers were charged in the multiple murders, and if convicted, could receive the death penalty. The brothers' first trial, broadcast on court TV, created a national frenzy by providing daily coverage of the trial. When the jury deadlocked, unable to agree to a verdict, the prosecution vowed to try the verdict. The prosecution vowed to try the brothers again. 3 years later, both brothers were retried, convicted of 2 counts of first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder, and sentenced to life without possibility of parole. Many at the time wondered what would have caused the Menendez brothers to kill their parents in such a brutal way. Marshall explains that their father, Jose Menendez, a successful media executive, was also a loyal member of the Illuminati, and as such was required to attend secret meetings at the cloning center and bring the entire family. Marshall explains that both brothers attended cloning, where they spent their hours of sleep surrounded by acts of sick perversity. Marshall explains that both brothers attended cloning, where they spent their hours of sleep okay, I read that already. Coming of age as young adults, Marshall claims that both were in the process of being awakened to the truth about their twisted childhood. While he could find no one able to understand his memories, Marshall says that the brothers were able to discuss their strange dreams with each other, dreams they both shared in detail. By corroborating each other's experiences, The Menendez brothers realized that they were not imagining things, and once they discovered the truth, struck back at those responsible. Marshall claims to have met both brothers at cloning years ago. He says they agreed to bargain with the Illuminati to not reveal what they remember about growing up at the cloning center and the perverse acts they witnessed in their dreams in order to escape the death penalty. Marshall says he was disappointed at the time and wanted them to tell all so that the world might learn the truth about the abuse that takes place within prominent Illuminati families at top secret cloning centers. So yeah, that's basically the Menendez brothers case, supposed to be related to the cloning facility abuse. And there's many. Obviously, I don't know if you guys seen that documentary, Quiet on Set, which is basically a series of like older Nickelodeon stars, like the guy who was in Drake and Josh, Drake Bell. Even he gave his account on the abuse that he experienced when he was working, at the Nickelodeon TV show program and on all the shows. You have a whole bunch of other people. Obviously, everybody knows about Dan Snyder. That dude's clearly a pedophile, which is why he pretty much disappeared for a good amount of time. Jeanette McCurdy had her complaints, and there's a whole bunch of other stars that had their complaints about, all the executives and all the people that were in charge at Nickelodeon. And yeah. If you guys wanted to say anything before I moved on to the next section.
Yeah, I agree. Yes, Dan Steiner is a sick, disgusting motherfucker. I hope he get the worst. No, like you said before, like Nick and Disney Channel. There's always like little kids that get. There's always parents that sell their kids out to get what you call it, money, and either money to help themselves, or it's just to get to the top, aka just do nothing for work while the kids do get the benefits, and while they just take it. And I think that's still continuing, but it's happening like low key, but I don't know why it's still happening. It's same thing with Justin Bieber with what's his name, Diddy. Um, Somehow, some way, the pedophiles always get control or get their hands on the other age kids somehow, some way, and it's because of their parents. They don't care what happened to their kids as long as their kids are famous and hanging out with another famous person. They're perfectly fine. They will sit back and allow something to happen to the kids, and that's the sick part about it. It's we blame other people, but somehow, some way, the parents don't get caught into situations sometimes, because guess what? They're not well known. That's why. So the parents are not well known. They get to sneak away unharmed and like, okay, listen, had nothing to do with it, until their kids tell the truth about what happened, or like you said before about the case where the parents, when the two brothers killed the parents. It's just things like that. Things like that will eventually come to light, especially when it comes to parents. They will get their just dues. Either they get a book written about them, or their kids will kill them because of what the parents done to them. But that's what I have to say. Fairmere, you have to say something.
Yes, I would agree with both of you. However, I would like to add that all the institutions of this system, be it political, police, military, judiciary, financial banking, corporative education, they are all on the same side, and they're all controlled and working towards the same goal in all the states. That is corporations. What I wanted to say is that everyone is in there. Orphanages, hospitals, and the religious institutions are the ones who are by far the most involved. We had a case of Jimmy Savile in Britain, who was a top media chosenite superstar, who was basically a pedophilic ringleader, and he was a child trafficker. He was also a necrophiliac, and he was also a, a nymphophiliac, and there's also a lot of zoophilia and cannibalism and vampirism among those elites. Uh, it means that whatever you do worst, that is better. Actually, to them, the worst acts are the best. And there is actually a chosenite doctrine of a chosenite false messiah from a 1666 called Sabbatai Zvi, who was a self-proclaimed chosenite messiah, in which he introduced a redemption through sin. It is basically this doctrine was basically this: we have to sin in a worst possible way, so that the God's fury can come on this earth, and we can get our redemption. Kabbalists said this: they wanted a Messiah to come at any possible by any possible way, and they believed that that the Messiah is going to come in two ways: either the world is going to be absolutely good, or B, it is going to be absolutely bad. They have, of course, chosen it. Let us summon their Mashiach by doing the worst possible things and turn the world into absolute evil. And so they set up a doctrine in which the more you sin, the better you are off, and the more divine mercy you will have. So things like pedophilia, necrophilia, zoophilia, nymphophia, they're actually a sport to them, and it is actually competition for them. As to return to the case of Jimmy Savile, Jimmy Savile was protected by the British Crown and by the Vatican and by the chosenite establishment in the Great Britain. And same thing with the Jeffrey Epstein, same thing. And I think it was, and I think actually not think. I know this is an actor's a reality where the more powerful members of the Illuminati play actually, and of the Chosenites play multiple roles at the same time. For example, you have the videos on Odyssey proving that the Anthony Fauci and Mother Teresa could be one and the same person. There is actually entire series of these actors' realities, which is a totally which requires a totally different stream altogether. But now I will concentrate on this reptilian phase. However, all these acts of evil, of violence and everything, it is in the service of the reptilian archons, so that they can produce and multiply the looch on this planet for them to feed on. The more pain, the more suffering, the more evil, the more torment happens, it is better for them, because they can feed the demiurge and the archons off of that energy, and they employ their minions here on Earth for that purpose. As for the parents selling their children, well, that is unfortunately nothing strange, especially among the gypsy population and some other populations. We have in Pakistan, in Pakistan, basically, where the children are taken from the streets and are getting raped and used and abused, not only by the truck drivers and bus drivers, but also there is an entire child trafficking. There is an entire child trafficking ring in that states, but also in the all other states in the world. It is basically a child trafficking ring and a sex slave trafficking ring. And also these elites are also normalizing this stuff and this behavior. You already have a commercial on HBO promoting pedophilia, and basically it is basically a world headed for a total annihilation of human race and their replacements with robots and with the automatons, and in the end on the holograms. And it is also I also wanted to say is definitely that a Kabbalist description of a world to come is definitely underway. And in this world to come, there will only be 500 million people who are mainly of a yellow race because of their obedience to the system, while everyone else is going to be exterminated. And basically the world to come is coming of transhumanist, post-humanist, reptilian, archonic world. And these acts are helping this world to come, and it is basically just a shape of things to come. Anyway, please continue. I'm Musty.
Oh, I'm back. I wrote in the private chat that I was going to be right back because I threw something away, but I'm back now. Okay. All right, so moving on. I talked about this in the other human cloning stream that I did with Croatia, I think like a year and a half ago or something like that, but something else that they do at the cloning facilities is death sports. So as it has been mentioned before, most, if not all, cloning facilities are located within deep underground military bases. These facilities also have a stadium floor in the middle of the stadium, and in the middle of the stadium is a dirt arena. The dirt arena is where the sexually perverse behavior occurs, and it is also where the death sport spectacles occurs as well. The death sports antics are pretty simple to understand. Because only clone bodies are being used, these sports entail people killing each other over and over again, usually with any weapon of their choice, such as spears, knives, swords, dual blades, and much more. It's basically made to simulate a video game death match, but in real life. Sometimes people will be placed in samurai or knight armor as well. So now I'm going to read from something titled Gladiators of the Pit. Okay, so it's kind of a long read, so just bear with me. Um, says here the public never seemed to tire of gladiator epics such as the recent Starz cable series Spartacus, inspired by the true account of a warrior who led a major slave uprising against the Roman Republic in 73 BCE. The series appealed to loyal fans in the United States around the world. It was nominated for many prestigious awards, winning the Saturn Award in 2011 for Best DVD/Blu-ray TV series. The glorious days of the Gladiator are far from over. According to Illuminati whistleblower Donald Marshall, who says that the spectacle of fighting to the death is alive and well and takes place every night in deep underground military bases around the world. Like Spartacus, Marshall must also battle to the death. Only his arena is the dirt pit of the cloning center, and his opponents are warriors who never die. If killed, they just get activated into a new body. Marshall claims that he hates to go to sleep at night and open his eyes to find himself standing in the pit, dressed for battle. He knows that he is in for yet another night of sword fighting for the pleasure of this elite crowd of spectators. Marshall maintains that members of the Illuminati attend the cloning center at night while their real bodies are at home sleeping. They sit there in the stands of the arena and watch the spectacle of blood sport, night after night, year after year. Marshall calls it murder theater for the rich and famous. Marshall reports that he is activated against his will and forced to fight, or face torture if he refuses. He says that members of the Illuminati feel that they can use your clone in any which way they choose. They state that clones are not natural born humans and therefore have no human rights. According to Marshall, elite members like to watch the slaughter of clone warriors battle to the death, all of which is videotaped and shared for the enjoyment of others in military bases around the world. They tell themselves that no harm is done since none of this is real. Nevertheless, Marshall claims that sword fighting in the pit is very disturbing. You wonder why you didn't swing your sword, explains Marshall, and you look over and you no longer have an arm. It's chopped off at the elbow and spurting blood with every beat of your heart. Marshall explains that there can be some confusion at first if you think you're in your real body, and you look at your bloody stump and think, oh shit, now I'm an amputee, before you realize that you're at the cloning center. What's more, since there is virtually no possibility of the public ever finding out what goes on in deep underground military bases, let the games begin. On any given night, the center pit recreates the gladiator arena of ancient Rome, the grounds of a medieval tournament, or even the samurai battlefields of feudal Japan, as spectators sit and watch blood sports from around the world, ordered up for their secret entertainment. It's time to do or die for the gladiators in the pit, where refusing to fight is not an option, and warriors can face brutal punishment for not cooperating. Marshall tells of the time he refused to fight. His opponent skinned him and then rolled his bloody body in the dirt of the pit arena. Next time, Marshall says, I fought. As a warrior in the pit, Marshall has battled, won, and lost again and again for as long as there are backup bodies. He claims that on any given night of sword fighting, he can go through multiple bodies at one time, each one being activated right after the other. He claims to have died many times as a clone, describing the stages of death by blood loss as feeling drunk for a short time, then incredibly sick, then immobile, and finally all turns to black until he opens his eyes in a new body. Marshall explains that when he wakes up in a new body, he immediately feels what is known as pain echoes, which are physical sensations from the last death he suffered. He describes it as a feeling of intense pain upon first awakening, which begins to lessen in waves until all that remains is some shakiness from body shock. Then, as soon as he recovers, it's back to the battlefield. Marshall says that he's been sword fighting since he was 5 years old, when they first handed him a short sword called a shato or shoto, pushed him into the pit and told him to fight, saying that he had to grow into a big sword. Just keep working and he'll get the sword. Marshall didn't want the sword or to sword fight, but they would just chop him on full pain sensors again and again. Marshall remembers the first time they put him in the pit with another kid and told them to fight. Marshall says he refused and threw down his sword, after which his young opponent hacked him to pieces. Each time, someone would just push him back in the ring, saying block and fight. Over time, Marshall says that blocking and trying to delimb or decapitate his opponent became second nature to avoid pain of torture. So began Marshall's sword fighting career, all videotaped and shared for the viewing pleasures of audiences around the world. He says that he remembers the cameras being bigger when he was young, but as he got bigger, the cameras got smaller. Marshall maintains that for years he was trained by experts in different forms of combat sports, including wrestling, fencing, and the martial arts of Japanese sword and spear fighting. He says Marshall claims that over time he eventually surpassed his teachers, and then they all began to throw all types of experts at him: Spanish fencers, Swedish musclemen with two-handed broadswords, who Marshall claims practically cleaved him in two with one stroke. It seemed that everyone wanted to take him down. Almost finished. Marshall explains that because of his reputation as a musician, he had become legendary among the secret fight clubs located in deep underground military bases worldwide. Everyone wanted to meet Marshall and then beat Marshall. That proved to be difficult, as he had been sword training for almost most of his life. So he claims that they began to resort to dirty tricks in the pit, like shocking him with electrical current to disable him during a match, or pre-drugging his clone. So once Marshall opened his eyes, he found himself unable to move, let alone fight. Marshall says they do these things to humiliate him, so celebrities could brag about how they beat him in the ring. Strangely enough, Marshall believes that most of the crowd knew these battles were set up, but still wanted to fight him anyway. Marshall explains that sometimes he would be struggling to fight under the influence of some drug. He would pretend to be more incapacitated than he really was. So when the celebrity comes in close, he would slice off an arm and then give a big chop. Victory was sweet for Marshall, although he says they always got him back later. He remembers the time he was told that one well-known celebrity wanted to sword fight him in the ring in front of the crowd, but Marshall was told to block, make it look good, and then let the celebrity win. Marshall says he began to fight at first, but soon sliced the celebrity's head clean off. Afterwards, the celebrity retaliated by stabbing him repeatedly in a small private room while Marshall was in restraints. Not all fighting at the clone zone happens in the pit. Today, Marshall is engaged in a different kind of battle, where he fights to alert the public about the deadly, brutal games that take place nightly in top-secret military bases around the world. He vows to keep fighting until all cloning centers are shut down permanently. All right, that was basically the end of that long-ass read. If you guys want to say anything, go ahead. If not, I'll continue.
Well, if Lightning God doesn't have anything to say, Lightning God do have something to say so that I can
No,
say, or
no,
okay,
you can talk.
okay. I just want to say this absolutely. The death and blood sports at the gladiator arena. It's all a blood sacrifice to these gods, archons, reptilians, mantoids, insectoids, Metatron spider beings, octopus beings, absolutely. And it's also generating glutch for the archons and for the controllers of this world in order to advance their plans even more. But what I wanted to say is that a similar version we have today. I mean, we have the the MMA, especially the largest promotion, which is the UFC, where the blood is spilled at the middle of the occultic octagon. The more blood, the more energy for these elites, Lites, Saturnian elites, and also Jupiterian or Jovian elites. There is also a boxing matches, which is also a type of blood sacrifice inside of a quadrant, which is just another part of the cube, and basically these blood and games are all also not only for the luch activities, but also for the mind control and brainwashing of the public, so that they embrace these values and embrace this bloodthirsty behavior and embrace these sacrifices as something normal. Also, what I further wanted to say is that we have in the past a human sacrifice, a child sacrifice, uh, all over the world, and all these rituals have been instituted by the Yaotl or Yahweh or the Demiurge or the Femiurge and so on and so forth. However, what is important to say is that basically all these elites have to be this part of the club, because that club gave them all their wealth and power and privileges and uh, all their clones, of course, and they are obedient, and they get their little rewards for their pathetic servitude. But in the end, they are all going to be discarded and rejected, and and of course eliminated in the end by the same entity that they were serving the entire time. Actually, from the beginning of the world, if we just look at the history, the monuments and everything, which are technologically far more advanced than what we have today, and far more technologically built than the buildings that we have today, we see that this human sacrifice and blood sports and genocide and occult ritual sacrifice and child sacrifice and virgin sacrifice and everything, it has been here since the beginning of time. It has just been for the archons and the demiurge, no matter the name that under which that being operates. This basically bloodthirst and this genocide has been the part of the world since the very beginning, all under the control of a chosenite tribes of monsters and reptilians. Even in the Bible, even the Bible, the Talmud, the Torah, they are all for the child sacrifice, especially the firstborn. Consecrate your firstborn and the cattle to me, which is basically a human sacrifice. And the later examples of supposedly Yahweh forbidding the human sacrifice is that he forbidden the human sacrifice, but to other gods. To him, absolutely. Actually, to her, absolutely. They had to do a human sacrifice. Aleister Crowley himself said that the best sacrifice is the white baby, white male baby of a 5 year old, 5 years old, uh, of the perfect innocence and perfect intelligence, and that generates by far the most black magic energy for their sick and depraved rituals in order to continue controlling this hell realm. I apologize. In order to continue to control this hell realm, which was created and controlled by the demiurge, actually Femiurge, and her forces, the Archons.
Okay. Oh yeah. Can I continue, or Lightning God, you want to say something?
All I would say is I agree with Fairmere and you about how fighting nowadays are just built for the rich entertainments, and how the blood they keep spilling, the more the rich get more excited and and feel more powerful because these people are fighting for their entertainment while they just laughing and just joking about stuff. And that like Faramir said, it's been happening for centuries now, and it's going to keep happening. There's basically even illegal. They've been legal fighting underground for years. They didn't have to make it illegal. They could have made it illegal if they wanted to, but the only reason they did that is to add more excitement to their game. They know that, okay, I can make it unillegal. I can. I just want to make it excited. So like what you call it, for the people to find out, and then and if they get caught or they may not get caught, it get them excitement about that. So it's just any fighting or any situation that they're in or going to be in, it's going to get them more excited, and they're not going to have no regret about it. But that's just that's my take on it, on the whole fighting. But you can continue your animosity. Animosity.
Yeah. All right. So now I'm gonna move on to the secret meetings aspect of the cloning facilities. I would say so. Yeah, the elite do not meet in person anymore. They don't go to the Bohemian Grove, nor do they call each other over the phone due to the risk of being caught. With the discovery of cloning technology, all meetings, rituals, and sick, evil behavior can be conducted at the cloning centers. This is a way to mitigate most, if not all, risk. Most facilities are either located in the middle of nowhere or on restricted military property. Performing all acts at the cloning facility is also a way for the elite to make any victims of cloning center abuse look instantly crazy. I mean, what are victims going to say to people? Oh, I'm being fucked with in my dreams, and there are aliens and demons, or they're taking me to another dimension or something. The average person is not going to look deeper into your story or peril. They will just assume that you're crazy. Um, so yeah, I got one more. Oh, actually, no, not one more. Let me see something. Yeah, so I got two more. I guess the next thing I'm going to talk about are the MK Ultra scenario experiments. So just briefly, basically, what an MK Ultra scenario is, they can essentially bring you down to the cloning facility and place you in something called a scenario, which is basically like a random event in which maybe you're in conflict, or maybe somebody's yelling at you, or you're having an argument with somebody, and they basically just spectate you Either doing that, not only that, they can put you in like cringy or embarrassing situations just to watch you just for fun. Maybe you're having an argument with your sibling, or you're having an argument with your parent, or maybe you're in a situation where you're fighting off aliens or maybe even zombies or something like that. It's basically like drug slash hologram technology that they can use, basically make you see shit that isn't really there, as I mentioned before. And they basically just watch this for entertainment. I guess the last thing that I wanted to say was they use the cloning facilities to obviously maintain control over celebrities and prominent figures. So if you're wondering why a lot of celebrities don't talk, obviously most of you know it's because they'll fucking kill them. But killing them wouldn't be of like any inconvenience. It wouldn't be hard to do because since most, if not all, celebrities and iconic and famous people, prominent figures, since they all got the microchip in them, they can just be killed remotely from the cloning facility, or they can be brought there and tortured over and over again, like clone body after them. They just keep getting killed over and over again, which is allegedly what they did to Bernie Mac, until he just got sick, because a constant state of stress was applied to the clone, which affects you in real life, and he eventually just got sick and died. But yeah, not only that, but they can also bring that, because remember, when these celebrities sell their souls, they're not just selling their soul, they're literally selling out everybody in their entire family. Their kids, their wife, they sell basically out their whole family. And because of that, if they start talking and they got children, the elites could easily just hold their children over their head by saying, if you don't stop talking about this shit, we're just gonna torture your child, or we're gonna rape your child in front of you. We're gonna do some wild shit. So that's a very, very good de-incentivizer, I guess you could say, for them to not talk, or for them to act like nothing goes on. Yeah, that's basically what I have to say for now. Unless somebody had something to say, I'll probably just say 2 more things and then I'll be done. Unless I could continue.
Well, I just want to add that yes, absolutely, what you said is absolutely true. However, problem is that we is that all these elites in the end, they're also despite the cloning, despite the resources, despite all the rituals that they had, in the end, they're only the performers, the monkeys, the slaves of a higher spiritual elites, which are once again all these so-called angels and seraphim and ophanim and cherubim, and the thrones and powers and angels and archangels and everyone. Uh, they are just their slaves. They are not deciding anything. They are just performing what is commanded to them. Uh, by the way, all these elites, none of their thoughts I mean, if there ever was their own, because Jerry Marzinski said that all the thoughts, all the negative thoughts that which we have, are 100% not our thoughts, and they are all archonic, demonic thoughts. So basically, if these elites are operating only on the thoughts, on the evil thoughts, that basically means that they are completely demon possessed, and that they are Nephilim hybrids, which are doing and thinking and speaking only evil continually. And even then, if they try to resist, archons are, that is, angels, are here just to push them and force them to do evil for them. Of course, Jerry Marzinski, in his interviews with these demons, said that they have to be evil and that they have to perform what they're doing, unless if they are not doing that, their own kind, of course, the higher ups, and especially Satan, and especially his and especially the bosses of Satan, like Metatron and Yahweh, they will put these demons into a hellish realm called the pit, where they are going to be tormented because they haven't performed their duty, and that is being evil. Furthermore, all these parents selling their children, I would say that that vast majority, if not all of these parents, are already part of these elite bloodlines and reptilians like them. However, cases of missing children are in tens and hundreds of millions all over the world. A true number which we will never know, but it is definitely far higher than what we could ever imagine. And where are all these children? All these children are being in an underground tunnels, and being led into the underground bases to the reptilians to be eaten. And of course, on the poles, there is also a reptilian bases on over 1 million reptilians, entire reptilian underground cities, and all these underground tunnels are beneath the synagogues, the cathedrals, and mosques, meaning that the religion is always ranked in the archonic policy above the politics. Politics is nothing but another form of theocracy, and basically all these religions are the closest collaborators and the highest ranking servants of the archons. So basically, religious figures have always been on the top of evil, no matter which religion, but especially Abrahamic ones are at the top of the hierarchy of evil. And then comes the politics, and then comes everyone else. And I would say that the financial system is also based on a theocratic magical system. Anyway, please, animosity or lightning god, continue.
Animosity, you can continue.
All right, give me a second. Okay. Yeah, so some pretty good information has been said so far. I'm just going to read from this last document, and then, I'll basically be done because that's all I have to say. So I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but this document is called The Prisoners of Dolce Base by Sherry Schreiner. So I'm going to go ahead and read this. Let me get comfortable. All right, so here it says there are two governments occupying the United States of America today. First, there is the traditional government established by our founding fathers, founded upon the Constitution and an elected government, and there is the fascist, barbarian, Illuminati-backed underground or shadow government, led by the corporate military industrial government, which is fighting against traditional America on its own soil. In other words, the two sectors are the Judeo-Christian based Constitutional Republic of America and the Luciferian cult-based socialist empire of Bavaria, known as the Bavarians or the Illuminati. Perhaps as early as 1776, way further than that, a gradual coup has been underway by Illuminati secret societies to undermine, overpower, and take over the traditional form of government in America and establish a fascist Luciferian dictatorship working under the guise of a New World Order. Over the last 70 years, since 1933, this New World Order shadow government founded by American tax dollars and illegal drugs and weapons trades has been developed and implemented alongside our normal government, but kept hidden and out of public view by a controlled media and their trained assassins. There is an inevitable war waiting between the elected surface government and those who will fight to defend it, and the underground joint humanoid reptilian draconian New World Order, if freedom is to be preserved. Over the past 40 years, the New World Order has successfully taken over the elections process to guarantee one of their followers is always elected as president. The American public has been deceived and played as fools by those who wish to destroy them from within. This joint alien domination is almost complete. It is this joint alien human government that has covertly undermined our election process, lied to American people, and have served as presidents and many of our congressmen since the 1970s. Secret societies rule our government. Not one president has been elected for the past 30 years that was not a member of the Council of Foreign Relations and Trilateral Commission run by the Illuminati. The insignia of the Trilateral Commission is the same insignia seen on alien aircraft. It is the fascist core of the NSA and CIA that has been the Illuminati's arm of control and protection here in America. It is this core who protect information about these bases and the alien aspect of the shadow government from being exposed. It is this core that is the direct link not only to the aliens who direct behind the scenes, but the Vatican itself that sits at the top of it all. Not the Pope himself, but the Black Pope position. The real power in the Vatican that is hidden behind the White Pope and is virtually the seat of Lucifer himself. The dragons of which Satan is, run the Vatican and the Illuminati, and they rule this alien human empire via Lucifer from the Vatican. It is the NSA whose personnel reportedly pilot the black budget UFOs between the Luna base on Mars and the Dreamland base in Area 51, Nevada. It is the NSA and DIA who operate their own UFO fleets in our skies at night, both alongside and in opposition to alien craft. The question isn't do UFOs exist, but who is flying them. There are many secret underground facilities such as the Los Alamos base that provides an underground garage for the human American UFO fleets located in Los Alamos, New Mexico. Even so, one second. Okay. In many underground bases, these aliens and humans work alongside each other. However, the Lord has shown me that these humans who have agreed to work with the aliens have been taken over by them and are controlled by them. The humans have been possessed by the aliens and assimilated into the alien collective that is controlled and manipulated by Lucifer himself. When our government officials first made contact with these aliens and started signing treaties with them, the process was underway for total Luciferian control of our government through the backdoor shadow government. Our government, naive to the tactics and strategies of the devil, gave him permission to indirectly work through his alien forces to work with our government and military officials, thus unknowingly allowing for the eventual possession and soul scalping of all those who would come into contact with these aliens. Secret societies and occultic groups have existed since the beginning of time under different names, all established to worship Satan and enslave those involved to Lucifer, have come into almost complete domination in these last days of almost every government in the world. Only high-ranking Freemasons, Scottish Rite, and other societies under the umbrella of Luciferian control have been allowed into positions of gaining security clearance to even come in contact with these aliens. Even at the lower-ranking levels of these societies, the members are required to acknowledge allegiance to Lucifer as the god of light or god of this world or whatever other deceptive verbiage they are required to recite as an oath, and this is what gives Lucifer's demons and aliens permission to possess and control these humans. The dark side and forces of evil operate on a permission basis. When someone takes an oath to Satan, no matter how deceived they are about the kind of oath they are taking, they are giving him permission to enter, demonize, and possess them. Secret societies that require oaths to join them are of the devil. Making oaths to the dark side allows the demonic to possess those in them. And when they are physically dead, Satan will possess their souls forever. In the meantime, they can be soul scalped and replaced by aliens or demons who then take over their bodies. This shadow government running alongside ours is controlled by these secret societies. The Council of Foreign Relations. Wait, hold on. Right, so the Council of Foreign Relations and the Trilateral Commission are, in reality, secret societies because in order to be accepted as a member in either of them, one has to be a Mason or member of one of the other Lucifer-controlled societies. At this level, this allows the aliens to take complete bodily possession of the humans involved with them. And this is one of the areas where the shape-shifting phenomenon comes from. For those involved with the shadow government and secret societies, first they lose their autonomy and individuality as human beings. Then they lose their bodies, and eventually their souls. Many have been soul scalped and replaced by aliens themselves who now inhabit their bodies permanently. There is evidence of an agreement called the 100 Treaty that began in 1933 by Franklin Roosevelt between the aliens and the government of the United States. It was shortly after agreements started taking place that the alien infestation of our government and elected offices started taking place, or officials. When you go to bed with the devil, you're not going to come out of it looking like an angel. The science fiction movie called Close Encounters of the Third Kind was sold to the public as the first contact we had with aliens. Of course, created in fiction format so no one would believe it. But in reality, contact had been made in 1933. It could have been earlier than this, but if there was contact, it's been kept well hidden. We know there are many underground bases, practically underground cities that are kept well hidden and out of public view that spring up as a result of having alien contact and making treaties with them. These treaties called for joint bases to be built for the exchange of technology with aliens. Our scientists and experts would work side by side with aliens and taught the new forms of technology that had been agreed upon. For instance, our government allows the aliens to mutilate animals and kidnap humans in exchange for anti-gravity technology, microchips, lasers, free energy, and more. In exchange, we agreed to deny their existence, cover up their crashed UFOs, lie about human abductions and animal mutilations, and keep a lid on an alien presence in this country. While these aliens mutilated animals for body parts and abducted humans for experiments, hybridization, soul scalping, chip implantation, mind control programming, dreamscape manipulation, genetic engineering experiments, crossbreeding, cloning, harvesting for body parts, using humans for food. Meanwhile, our government looks the other way and protects them while they are doing it. And this still happens today. At the same time, while the aliens have been implementing their hideous agenda onto us and worldwide, our shadow government has been taught this same technology and has been implementing it on us themselves, such as chip implantation, mind control programming, dreamscape manipulation, etc., etc. We have also learned anti-gravity research and literally have our own UFO fleets that are built underground, tested at Area 51, painted at Area 52, and stored at Los Alamos, among other bases. Some of the different security forces that protect and guard these bases include the Delta Force, Black Berets, Air Force, Blue Berets, Secret Service, FBI Division 5, CIA stormtroopers, and the base's own special security themselves. It has been alleged that many involved with these security divisions have been soul scalped or programmed to keep them under the control of the alien shadow government. I want to focus attention here on Dolce base. Okay, so just these last couple of pages. So this information is going to be particularly about the deep underground military base in New Mexico called Dolce base. So it says here, this joint CIA alien base is located under the Mesa in Dulce, New Mexico, close to the Colorado border and situated on the Apache Indian Reservation. The Dolce base is approximately 2.5 miles west of Dulce, a town located off US 64 with a population of approximately 900 to 1,700 people. Dulce is a small town with one motel and a gas station, but underneath the surface of the entire area lies a vast complex and network of bases and shuttle systems that crisscross through the entire country. Dulce is a central hub. The Dulce base is more technologically known as a biogenetics laboratory, including, but by no means limited to, atomic manipulation, cloning, human psychic research, advanced mind control, animal/human crossbreeding, visual and audio chip implantation, and the abduction and feeding off of humans, including children. It is the second largest reptilian and gray base in North America, yet is the central hub for all the underground bases. The largest base is located by, I think it's pronounced Teos, New Mexico. The Dulce base was built on top of deep caverns that extended for hundreds of miles underground. There are 7 levels of the Dulce base that are known of. The caverns underneath are off limits, and even most of the levels themselves are not accessible without strict security clearance to those who qualify to be on them. The first 3 levels contain government offices and a garage for street maintenance. The base itself is as large as the city of Manhattan. Yes, they have roads and electric vehicles to drive. The second level contains offices and a garage for trains, shuttles, tunnel boarding machines, and UFO maintenance. The third level is mostly government offices. The fourth level of Dose Base conducts research and experiments on the human psyche, dream manipulation, hypnosis, and telepathy. All aspects of mind control programming takes place here as well. Witnesses have described huge vats containing amber liquid with human body parts on the fifth level that are constantly stirred by a robotic arm. Rows and rows, thousands of cages have also been seen holding men, women, and children to be used as food and put into these vats for the aliens. The sixth level is called the Nightmare Hall. It contains the genetic labs, and this is where the crossbreeding experiments of humans and animals are conducted. People have reportedly seen fish, seals, birds, and mice that are vastly altered from their original creations. There are multi-armed and multi-legged humans and several cages and vats of humanoid bat-like creatures up to 7 feet tall, 7-foot humans with wings and bat-like features. On the 7th level are thousands and thousands of humans in cold storage, including children. These last few floors are the ones that have been brought to my particular attention. In their insane desire to have human bodies as their own, aliens have perfected the ability to take a person's soul out of their body and put it elsewhere. This gives them access to the human body devoid of a soul. The body is a shell, a carcass, and they can take over and possess this body and use it for themselves. This is termed as walking in. There are two types of walk-ins. Aliens can walk in and possess a live human body and or a dead human. Or in this instance, a live human who has had their soul removed and then their body was taken over and walked in by an alien. What happens to the souls? What is a soul? A soul is what makes you you. We are souls, and our bodies are just shells that cover our souls. Can we exist outside our bodies? Yes. As a soul in soul form. The aliens are kidnapping humans and taking out their souls and then putting these souls in storage containers, even boxes, and then taking over the human bodies as their own. The person who was abducted and kidnapped is not dead. They are still alive, but now as a soul. They are trapped in the container or storage box they were put into. They become prisoners imprisoned in these storage containers with no way out. This, let me see. Okay. 1 second. Hundreds of thousands. Yeah. Hundreds of thousands of children and adults disappear every year in this country alone. Our government and media cover it up by underreporting the true numbers of those who disappear, not reporting it at all, making it seem like they are just various cases of runaways or a spouse leaving with the children. Many of these people who disappear end up in these underground bases to never be heard from again. The Center for Missing and Exploited Children, run by the government for spin control, estimates that 300,000 children are missing each year. This number could be much, much higher and probably is. Over 10 years, that's 30 million children. That is a lot of food and harvested bodies for aliens, don't you think? Over 30 years. That's 90 million. And our government will kill people to keep it quiet rather than keep it from happening. Why? Because in exchange for their silence, the aliens give them technology. What technology since the 1950s has been worth over 120 million lives, mostly children? Laser beams, computers, the microchip, microwave, almost all of our advances in electronics and human chip implantation have come from the aliens. Did we need them? Many inventions by our own scientists and inventors have been confiscated by the government, and then the person thrown in jail or prison to keep them from protesting. Um, Free energy, cures for cancers, and even AIDS were found as far back as 30 years ago. But the government confiscated and confiscates the inventions and patents and has killed the scientists and inventors themselves. They don't want cures when the dying industry is a big business. They don't want you to heal. Their purpose is to kill you. AIDS was designed by them to begin with and to target and kill off undesirable populations with predisposed types of DNA. Depopulation is a big part of the Illuminati NWO's agenda, and they don't want you to have free energy when they are making billions of dollars making you pay for it. Under the New World Order, mankind serves as nothing but slaves if they're not being used as alien food. We pay for them to exist in the underground mansions we've built for them with our tax dollars. We have built them a worldwide underground super tube shuttle system. They can travel underground to almost anywhere in the world at speeds we can't even imagine on the surface Earth. Think about these things when you hear the term New World Order and or shadow government. When George Bush Sr. first publicly announced the creation of the New World Order in 1991, he was in effect publicly announcing an alien takeover of our nation and the replacement of our republic and constitution with a Luciferian and alien dominant government. Um, The controllers of this shadow government are literally feeding off our people. They are working behind the scenes of our elected government to present to the public the lie that we still have an elected government, although they've been controlling the top offices for years through alien-dominated humans. The aliens who stay behind the scenes, known as the controllers that you don't see, are the ones directing and controlling the underground alien empire we've built for them. They are the ones directing the chip implantation of the entire nation via sharpshooters, flu sharpshooters, etc., and the infestation and assimilation of aliens into our society as hybrids, soul-scalped humans, and clones. And they assassinate and target people who dare expose them. Thousands and thousands of people are being held captive in cages like animals at the Dolce base. Even more thousands are being kept in cold storage, and even more are trapped in storage boxes with no way out. Dolce base is our soil. It's time to bring more awareness about what this base is, where it is, and get something done about this huge network of alien underground bases. They must be destroyed. We are at war, folks. If the humans of this country don't stand up against the evil that is dominating us, we will be annihilated by them. It's not if, but when. Aliens are taking over our country, and when the veil is lifted, you will start to see them more and more. Shapeshifting will become a common sight. It almost already is to those in top political circles, but not the Capitol Hill revolving door politicians as much as those who are made for life in Congress and will never lose their seats because they are a part of the Barbarians. Those elected into the White House are Barbarians along with their entire cabinets. Okay, well, that was the end of that. So yeah, just a reminder. It's basically called The Prisoners of Dolce Base by Sherry Shriner. Just another reference point. But you can go ahead if you wanted to say something. Femiers.
Okay. I think that this is okay. Some information in there, such as facilities used as the organ harvesting, uh, then for the creation of chimeras, then for cloning. Okay, that information is correct. However, you have sent me that document, and thank you very much. And I
Yes.
and I and I have to say that this document was either a written by an ignorant person, or B, written by a controlled opposition person, this Sherry Shriner. First of all, she says, first, there is a traditional government established by our founding fathers, founded upon the Constitution and the elected government, and there is a fascist Bavarian, yeah, right, Illuminati backed underground or shadow government led by the corporate military industrial government, which is fighting against traditional America on its own soil. So basically, she is taking the side of a slavery running 13, 13 uh, 13 British colony state, which was founded by a reptilian Freemason British crown elites. So immediately here, she is clearly showing that she a either doesn't know what she's talking about, or B, she is controlled. Then perhaps as early as 1776, totally incorrect. Totally incorrect. A conspiracy and the rule of the archons has been here since the world was created. So this 1776 is total idiocy. Over the 70 years since 1933. So basically, USA being basically a slave concentration camp before that, and all this a genocide over Indians and everyone who didn't think like the British Crown elites is okay, right? Of course, total fallacy. Then, over the past 40 years, the New World Order has successfully taken over the elections. First of all, elections are the creation and rigged from the start. It is the creation of these Chosenite, not Bavarian, Chosenite order. The Germans are the Ashkenazi, but also okay. But the election process is the creation of the Chosenite elites. Then the new and then she's saying the past 40 years, USA has always been a Chosenite Freemasonic colony. Then not one president, she says, has been elected for the past 30 years. Wrong. Every United States president has been selected by the British Crown and the Vatican. Then she is blathering about the fascist score of the NSA and CIA. First of all, USA was founded on the doctrines of the Bible, and the Bible is the combination of communism, supercapitalism, and the first Ubermensch theory was developed by the Chosenites. I remember, you are the one people special to God. You are above. You are one people who is most favored by Yahweh. This and that. Okay, underground facilities. Okay, I have no problem with what she says. Then she says, the Lord, read Baal, has shown me that these humans who have agreed to work with the aliens have been taken over by them. Okay, but why did Baal, Lord, show you that? It has so you are just the other side of the same coin, not nothing else. Then, okay, oath to Satan, who is a controlled opposition to Yahweh. Okay, this and that. Then she talks about the movies, which I have to say, all these movies and all these black screen. I mean, those are black crying mirrors absorbing your soul. Anyway, and she is talking about that the Black Pope is the head in Vatican, which is totally incorrect. Black Pope is higher than White Pope, but he is below the Gray Pope, who is ruling both the Black and the White Pope. Then she says, okay, Delta Force. What she's saying, alien harvesting, creation of chimeras, cloning, humans given as food. Okay, I can definitely agree with that, and that is definitely the truth. Then she says about the levels of security, levels of technology, reptilians. Okay, this okay, I can definitely agree with that. But then she says, I serve, remember, serve the demiurge, that is the most high God, and I am not afraid of them. May Jehovah, the God of chaos, the most high, be exalted, and our nation turned back to him. So turned back to a Chosenite slavery, so he can lead us out of the grip and the hand of who? Bavarians. No, totally incorrect and totally wrong. Those are not Bavarians, those are Chosenite tribes. And she is putting the blame on white Germans because, I mean, whether she likes it or not, she is basically aiding a Kalergi plan with this. So basically, there was absolutely black slavery, which we have to all condemn, and absolutely, but there was also a white slavery, and no one talks anything about that. But who are the main perpetrators behind that? The main perpetrators behind both white and black slavery are Chosenites, and they are ruling this government, not the real Germans, but the Chosenites. Thousands and thousands of people are being held captive in cages like animals. So just like the Talmud says, only the Chosenites are the real people, while the all known Chosenites are animals. So she is so stupid that she is exposing herself, and she says that seek the Lord as to what He would have you to do. So once again, this document it is clearly has some good information, but in the end, this Sherry Shriner is either completely ignorant or is a controlled opposition. Anyway, she is the servant of a Yahweh, the Demiurge, and the Chosenites. She has never exposed the Chosenites in a single sentence, and therefore this document is just a controlled opposition blattering and nothing else. I mean, she says some truth only to lead you in the wrong direction. Just like someone offers you a nice, tasty fruit, but it is poisoned. In the end, it tastes well for a few first seconds, but later you get poisoned and died. All these Christian truthers and all these Abrahamic religion truthers, for me, they don't know what they're talking about, and the debating them is useless. Like you are debating to a wall, idiocy. Anyway, please, animosity or lightning God,
Um,
continue. This is everyone. This is everything I had to say.
okay, so yeah, just to piggyback off of what you were saying, when I read the document, yeah, I think the only things I really took from it was, the deep underground military bases she was talking about, the basically the soul scalping and the subway systems and shit within these bases that can basically have you travel around the country, the aliens and the creatures and whatnot. But there's a reason why I intentionally kind of avoided the
Absolutely.
there's a reason why I pretty much kind of avoided the areas where she would talk about the Lord this or the Lord. I just instantly kind of avoided it because I was like, okay, so this motherfucker, especially the part where she was talking about how, oh, it's the Judeo-Christian versus the
Uh,
Luciferian God. I was like, bro, just listen. I just had to skip over it because I was like, okay, so there's definitely some ignorance here. And yeah, that she also, yeah, she didn't call out the Zionists at all, really. In fact, she's actually like technically saying she's with them by saying the Judeo-Christian ones are
absolutely.
against the
Absolutely.
Luciferians. So yeah, she's definitely either controlled opposition, but for me, I don't know. My intuition is telling me that she's more so ignorant. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I guess
And,
the aliens and yeah, go ahead.
yeah, yes. And what is even worse, she is supposedly humans are handled like animals in pens. They are slaves and this and that. Yet you are embracing the Judeo-Christian slave system of Talmud and Torah and Bible and Quran. And Kabbalah and Zohar and Sabbatai Zivi and all these other Chosenite documents, they are against the slavery for Chosenites. Everyone else is cattle serving them. So how are you against slavery, yet you support the founders and the main controllers behind slavery and occupation of other nations? I mean, this is total contradiction. Total contradiction. Absolutely horrendous. Horrendous.
Yeah. Another thing that I guess I liked about what she said was that she mentions that we have to take action in order to stop this. But then she's also kind of mixing that in with thinking that there's a savior or somebody coming to save her or save us, and that's just a turn off from it as well. She should have just stuck strictly to the fact that we are the ones that have to take action. There's nobody coming to save us. I mean, look at all the shit that she's talking about. You're talking about there's children in cages, children being eaten and raped, and it's like, bro, where is this savior that's helping them? He's not doing anything. So we have to do something ourselves, but obviously it's never going to happen because the vast majority of the population is fucking retarded. They just
Absolutely.
do what they're told. They just believe the lies that they were told. So, but yeah, man. Basically, all these documents is just reference. Definitely some truth that she told. Um, I don't think she understands that literally most, if not all, presidents are literally related to each other. They're pretty much all come from the same bloodline. So it's always been a
Always,
selection.
always.
It's been, and she says that, oh, it's only since
No,
1776. No,
no,
it's been like thousands of years, literally.
no, no. It's
Um,
forever. It's forever.
yeah, technically ever since we were created.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even the ancient Sumerians let you know. Ever since we were created, we were basically ruled by these creatures or whatever the fuck they are.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's basically all I have to say. Lightning guy, if you don't have anything to say, I'm just gonna end it.
No, all I'm gonna say is be safe. Make sure you guys stand up for what you believe in, of course, but watch out for the government and them trying to force you to take some stupid as what do you call that stupid shit? What do you call it?
The microchip.
Microchip, yeah. Be careful with that because they may use fear to trick you, but don't fall for it because if we all stick together and go face them, they ain't gonna do shit. But like I said, take care, stay safe. That's it.
All right. Well, Femi, your any last words, or are you good?
Well, I can just say that no one is coming to save you. You have to advance your own spiritual and mental knowledge in order to fight against this system. Uh, and you have to remember, as above, so below, escaping this earth is not the end of suffering. You have to read, and I will again emphasize that the book of Third Enoch, where it is clearly showed that in heaven, that the heaven is actually celestial Stalinist dictatorship with constant genocide and elimination, even of angels. And reason is they haven't served the Lord correctly. So you are doing mass genocide on angels because uh, they haven't praised you correctly. The book of Third Enoch, the third book of Enoch, you have it on the internet. A fallen angel Hermes. Anyway, very weird name to choose, but okay. Anyway, I just want to say, stay safe, and no one is coming to save you, and you have to fight yourself, and that's it. I wish you all the best.
Yeah. I guess my last words are just question everything, be skeptical of everything. Don't trust anything for 100%. And yeah, see you.
See you.